Oh yeah, you know what time it is. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Hope you had an amazing Thanksgiving with you and your family. And welcome to another Rogers Capital monthly market commentary where we attempt to be the antidote to water cooler wisdom. Well, if you've been paying attention to these videos throughout the year, you'll know very well my position on this economy and what we're looking for, what we're in the midst of. To recap a little bit, we've had 2 negative quarters of GDP growth, which for 100 years was a recession. But of course, we can't call it a recession, politics and all that stuff that's going on. And really, in reality, I've kind of walked you through that the National Bureau of Economic Research, the folks that Wall Streeters kind of pay attention to call a recession, has also, not called this a recession just yet. Now, it does look like that second half of 2023, we're likely to slip into recession. How deep and or soft landing, what kind of soft landing potentially we have is yet to be seen, but looking like second half of 2023. Until then, we're going to have what we've been having this year: mediocre economic growth, volatility. Now, those of you who've been with me 10, 15 years will remember a term: the plow horse economy. Now, coming out of 2008, the financial crisis, we saw a time of really meager economic growth. We were moving forward, step by step, plow horsing our way forward, but it wasn't good times, right? It was meager. In fact, 2.2% economic growth over that 8 years that followed the financial crisis. Now, fast forward to today, looks like we've got a little bit of the same thing here. GDP growth year over year, 0.5% for 2022. That's the slowest since World War II. So we're moving forward. There are some positive things. We're plodding one step in front of the other, but kind of this plow horse feel again. A plow horse, though, this time maybe with Shin splints. We have some concerns. Continuing jobless claims this past month up to 1.5 million. That probably signals that we're at a low point in the unemployment rate. That's behind us at 3.5%. And the job growth will be slower moving forward. We also see factory sector softening. The ISM manufacturing index at 49.0 here in November, this last month. That's the first sub 50 reading that we've had since the COVID days. So if you want negative, you have the data for the narrative. But yet some key parts still remain stable in this economy, and when you put it all together, you have a weak economy that's still growing, but it's showing some signs of wear and tear. A plow horse with shin splints, if you will. You say, okay, well then we got a recession coming. What's that going to do with markets? Well, remember, markets anticipate 6 to 9 months ahead of time. They don't wait for things to happen. They anticipate things will happen, and a lot of this is already baked into what we have lived through here in the last several months. Okay. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the biggest news item of the previous month, and that is the rapid collapse of the bankruptcy of FTX, a Bahamas-based crypto exchange. It had a wide impact on crypto, a story that is so ridiculous and unbelievable, as ridiculous as this suit I'm wearing. FTX was the third largest crypto exchange. In fact, those of you that maybe watch Major League Baseball will maybe remember that the umpires used to wear little badges, little advertisements, FTX. I remember the first time I saw it thinking, what are these guys doing? What is FTX? A few years ago. But a huge exchange, the third largest. Well, Sam Bankman-Fried, SBF is maybe what you see in the news, founded a company called Alameda Research, and then developed an exchange token, FTT. So like Bitcoin, but a competitor to Bitcoin, FTT. There were some allegations that there was shadiness going on. Binance, which is a competitor exchange to FTX, dumped all of its FTT crypto, leading to a crash, leading to people, withdrawing their money from the FTX exchange, leading to withdrawals being frozen so that people couldn't even get their money out. November 11th, FTX, Alameda Research, and over 100 affiliated entities declared bankruptcy. All these, turns out, all kinds of little patchworks of shell companies and things, all kinds of stuff, elaborate stuff he had going on. And banks, big banks and investment houses losing tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. And all of a sudden, overnight, a once genius, media darling, prodigy Sam Bankman-Fried all of a sudden was completely clueless as to how in the world this could have even happened. His net worth, once 16 billion, has now been wiped out. And he may end up in the pen, probably should. The ripple effect, though, beyond just him, across the whole cryptocurrency industry, with the price of Bitcoin, in fact, falling to its lowest price in 2 years. So I just hearken you back to a conversation we had last year. You'll hear a lot of things about crypto. You'll hear it's a store of value. Store of value. Does this story that we've just, this last November, does that sound like a store of value to you? Mm-hmm. You'll hear it's going to replace the US dollar. Replace the US dollar? Really? Huh. Wow. I don't know. I don't know about that. A lot of things you hear about crypto, and a lot of reasons that you don't hear about crypto and Bitcoin and FTT from me. In fact, I'd point you back to the Bitcoin video that I did, Bitcoin or really crypto as a whole, last April. So honestly, really, on this YouTube channel where I do all these videos, just scroll down to April of 2021, revisit that video, okay? Well, that's it for this month. Again, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and we'll see you next year.